All right, guys, welcome back. Before we jump into this video, I wanted to mention that I've only got about 5 of these mini wing panels left here. I've still got about maybe 20 or so of these big decals. $10 for the decal, $25 here for the mini wing panel. If you are interested in those, make sure to email me and we'll get you taken care of. That is rodmanchase@gmail.com. I'll put it down in the description as well. But today I want to talk about Anthony Macri. Before I was on the Outlaw Tour in 2020, I knew quite a bit about sprint car racing. I felt like I really, though, I will fully admit it, I did not know much about PA sprint car racing, however. I was from California. I live here in Ohio now, but I was in California. PA was a long ways away. I didn't really know the ins and outs of PA sprint car racing. And so when I jumped on the Outlaw Tour in 2020 as the pit reporter there, Anthony Macri was a guy I really hadn't heard of a ton, right? So I feel like he has just had a meteoric rise to the top of sprint car racing. And I figured I would document it here on the YouTube channel because after, I don't know, probably about 2 hours or so of researching this whole thing here and putting it all on the board and in kind of a timely manner, right? I don't want this video to be 20 minutes long or anything, but Macri, from where he started at, less than 10 years ago, this guy made his first ever 410 sprint car start. And now, he is one of the best drivers in the country each and every year. And so what we've got over here is his sprint car rating from every year from 2015 to 2023. And then I've got 2024 over here on my laptop. But it has been crazy to see what he's been able to accomplish here in such a short amount of time. And I figured maybe some people don't know about this, right? So let's put it on the board. So 2015 was Anthony Macri's first year in a 410 sprint car. He ran his first ever start at the BAPS Speedway, or what is it, BAPS Motor Speedway in Pennsylvania. 2015, he had 4 total races in the 410 sprint car, and that was it. But in 2016, he did jump up to when he almost quadrupled his schedule there to 17 races in 2016. And in 2016, it was a struggle, as you could probably imagine, for a 17, 18-year-old kid just getting into a high-powered sprint car in a pretty tough area to race against. He never ran better than 14th in all 17 of those races, all of them coming between BAPS and Lincoln Speedway. So he was a shorter track guy at the beginning of his career. We all know him as the guy that is the best at Port Royal Speedway here right now. But when he first started, it was all BAPS and all Lincoln for him. 2017, he goes from 17 races in 2016 to 60 races in 2017. He makes his All-Star Circuit of Champions debut at the Williams Grove Speedway. He does make the show in that one, finished 22nd in the feature. He makes his World of Outlaws debut as well at the Lincoln Speedway, but he does not qualify for that race. It was on May 17th. 3 days later, he would make his first ever World of Outlaws feature at the Williams Grove Speedway. He would finish 20th in that main event. He would also get his first ever 410 sprint car win in 2017. I believe he was 17 years old there. So, 2016, you could say he was 16, and then 15, he was 15 years old, right? But 2017, if I remember the article right, he was 17 years old, got his first ever win at Lincoln Speedway in the 410. He was 4th 2 different times that year with the All-Star Circuit of Champions at a couple of different racetracks. His overall stats with the 60 races, he only had 4 top 5s and 13 top 10 finishes. He had 34 races where he finished 15th or worse in 2017. So you can kind of tell, it was the school of hard knocks, right? For the first couple of years of his career, like you would come to expect. You're not expecting somebody to come in and just absolutely light the world on fire. But I put that on the board because it just shows how much he did struggle. And then you'll see at the bottom of the board what he is doing now is absolutely incredible. So from 2017, he goes to 2018, and from 60 races to 68 races, he would get a 3rd place run, his best of his career at the Port Royal Speedway with the All-Star Circuit of Champions. He was 17th at the Lincoln Speedway with the Outlaws. That was his best ever World of Outlaws finish as well. So career bests with both of those series. He would have 1 win that year. It did come at the Lincoln Speedway once again in Pennsylvania. Out of those 68 races, he had 14 top 5s and 30 top 10s. And you'll see a trend here with this. As we continue to go down, the number of races goes up and the number of top 5s and top 10s along with the wins goes up basically all the way down to the bottom of the board. 2019, he goes from 68 races to 77 races. He gets wins at Port Royal Speedway and at Lincoln. That win at Port was the first of his career. He makes his Knoxville Nationals debut, does not qualify for the feature in that one. 22 top fives and 41 top tens. So 22 top fives here, then 14, then 4. 22 top fives, then 14, then 4. And then he goes to 41 top 10s, back to 30, back to 13. So he is getting better and better each and every year. He's also running more races, which allows him more opportunities, obviously, to get those numbers more up and up. He ran second that year with the All-Stars at the Tuscarora 50, his best ever All-Star Circuit of Champions finish. And he would run second with the World of Outlaws that year at Port Royal Speedway as well. So in 2019 and 2018, you can slowly start to see that Anthony Macri is very, very good at Port Royal Speedway, and he's showing that when the big series come to town. He's doing it on a local level as well, getting a win, as we mentioned, in 2018. 2020, the year of the pandemic, he does go down in races by just 1 to 76 races, but all of a sudden, he goes from having a best of 2 wins in 1 year to 9 victories in 1 season. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, he had a win here, 2 wins here, and then a win, 1 win, and then 2 wins, and then 9 wins. He had 3 wins at Port Royal Speedway in a row at one point in time, 29 top 5s and 47 top 10s. He ran second on 6 different occasions that year. And this is the first year that he really gets out and travels quite a bit. He ran races in 9 different states, including, I believe, the World Finals at Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken. He ran in Missouri. He ran in Ohio. I think he ran in South Dakota at Park Jefferson as well. He ran all over the place out there in the Midwest. And that was the first year that we really saw him, starting to move around and go different places besides Central PA. That year, he was also 8th overall in the entire world, in the entire nation, I guess you should say, in the win category, right? So he had 9 wins. That's 8th best out of everybody else in 410s. And I forgot to mention this. I forgot to mention the sprint car ratings. So the first 2 years, he was not even ranked because he didn't have enough starts. Then he went from 97th to 80th to 45th, and the year we're talking about now, he's 13th. I mean, that is a pretty steep trajectory right there, and it only gets better and better. 2021, he has the most races he's ever ran in his career, 84 of them, and he gets the most wins as well, 11 victories that season. He gets them at 6 different racetracks. He is 3rd with the Outlaws 3 different times at 3 different racetracks. He does make the Knoxville Nationals for the very first time, 41 top 5s, 55 top 10 finishes, and he is 5th overall in the nation when it is in the win category, right? So still looking for that first ever World of Outlaws win. He's ran 2nd. He's ran 3rd 3 times. He's ran 3rd actually a couple more times. I just don't have them all on the board here. Can't fit it all on there. He's been close to that first World Outlaws win. And finally, in 2022, it would happen. But in 2021, he goes from 13th to 11th in the SprintCarRatings.com ranking system as far as the best sprint car driver in the country. Macri almost into the top 10 in 2021, just 6 years after making his first ever 410 start. Want to make sure my laptop is not screwing up over here. 2022. So this is a year the breakout year, the year that everybody knows who Anthony Macri is at this point. If you don't know who he is at the end of 2022, you aren't paying attention. You have no idea what's going on in sprint car racing. 93 races, which I believe may have been the most of anybody in the country in 2022. 23 wins, which was the most, as you could probably imagine, the most in the nation by 5. The next closest guy was Brent Marks with 18. So Macri had 5 more wins than the next closest guy, 52 top 5s and 71 top 10 finishes in 93 starts, 8 wins with the All-Star Circuit of Champions, and he would get his first 2 World of Outlaws wins in a row, both of those coming at the Port Royal Speedway in back-to-back nights. He won 4 races in a row at one point. He got the Tuscarora 50 win, the Bob Weicker Memorial win, the Race Redeem Foundation win with the All-Stars. And as I mentioned, he was first overall in the win category with 23. He goes from 11th in SprintCarRatings.com to 3rd in 1 year. I mean, 23 wins, absolutely unbelievable for him. And then in 2023, things kind of fall off a little bit because of what happened with the family car. He left the family car for a while, filled in for Tyler Courtney on the All-Star Tour. Things didn't go very well in the 7BC. But even with that going on, he was still able to accrue 8 wins. He was the PA Speed Week champion. He got wins with the Outlaws, with High Limit, and with the All-Star Circuit of Champions. He had 9 second-place finishes, so he was 1 spot away from having 17 wins that year, 40 top 5s, 49 top 10s, and he slips back to 11th in SprintCarRatings.com. And then this year, I've got that over here on my laptop. So far, 81 races. I'm recording this on Thursday of the World Finals, so he could, by the time you're watching this, he could have, maybe won more races or had more starts or whatever. But 81 races as of right now. And as of right now, he's actually tied for the most wins on the year in all of sprint car racing with David Gravel. He has 15 wins as of this recording, 38 top 5s, 52 top 10s. He once again won the PA Speed Week Championship this year. He got a High Limit Racing win at Texas. He has not gotten a World of Outlaws win as of yet. And he, as I mentioned, tied for the most wins this year. And he is 8th right now in SprintCarRatings.com rankings. So the rise of Anthony Macri has, I don't know if you could describe it any other way. Meteoric rise for him. It's been incredible to see, and it's been incredible to know him. He's a great guy. He's hilarious. He's a little bit quiet when he gets on the microphone, but when you talk to him behind the scenes, he's an awesome guy to talk to. He's hilarious, and it's great to see him being so successful. And hopefully one day we get to see him on some kind of national tour. From the sounds of it, that probably won't ever happen, but he's a guy that I think would be a guy that would draw fans in and would be an instant favorite for wins and top 5s each and every night with whatever series he would ever go with. We are praying that one day that happens, but for now, he is the most formidable guy right now to beat when it comes to, PA Posse, when the Outlaws or High Limit comes to town. He is the guy to beat right now. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe you learned something new about Anthony Macri. Make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment down below your thoughts on the career of Anthony Macri so far. Do you think someday we might see him on some kind of national tour? I want to hear your thoughts down below, and we'll talk to you guys again here soon.